Hello, so there's been an update since posting that last video, and it seems that the rabbit hole goes way deeper than even I expected. I've had a few people reach out, and some folks connect me with an insider at Redbox and a few others to fill in some gaps. So it seems that the CEO of Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment, Bill Rouhana, has a history stretching back to the 1980s of systematic fraud and then driving his companies bankrupt. This is according to various sources, including an ex-employee who posted a brilliant account of his experience, and various articles he brought together, including a Bloomberg article and various others from the 90s and various financial industry reports, including a Hindenburg report from 2018. Some of these reports are very in-depth, but here's a synopsis timeline that relays the allegations about CEO Rouhana. I'm putting this out there because it seems that there is more than enough credible information to provoke media and regulatory attention. Interestingly, the Redbox manager I connected with who was in a relatively high position contends that although the company was facing challenges, perhaps, had it not been for Rouhana's fraud, the company would have continued in its niche and had time to continue its transition to digital. Anyway, here's a summary of decades of allegations of fraud against the CEO. So in the late 1980s, Bill Rouhana was an executive at MCEG, Management Company Entertainment Group. It was alleged that he cooked the books to make MCEG look like it was on the right track for an upcoming acquisition. The CEO of the company, Jonathan Crane, explained this in detail in his book on the film industry. Crane says, "A junior accountant told me Rouhana had instructed him to push millions of dollars of immediate virgin payables or debts 9 months into the future and to accelerate virgin receivables immediately to make our books look acceptable for acquisition." MCEG ended up filing for bankruptcy in 1990, and these claims were never investigated. Bill then worked for Lancet Media. During his tenure, the company went public, raised money. Bill sold hundreds of thousands worth of stock. Shortly after that, the company began incurring massive losses and went bankrupt. And we don't know too many more details about this one. But this is where some wild stuff really starts to float to the surface. So Bill and Amy Newmark, Bill's wife, started WinStar Communications in the early 90s. WinStar seemed to be a promising young company, and they went public. But in 1995, Bloomberg News stated that something was off. Bloomberg said, under the leadership of William Rouhana, chairman and CEO, WinStar's cash has been used to enrich him and his associates through a series of less than arm's length transactions. In 1999, Fortune and LA Times reported that Bill was at it again. Stakeholders were calling out Rouhana's self-dealing, specifically that WinStar was allegedly purchasing consulting services from his own companies. WinStar collapsed into bankruptcy amidst fraud allegations. Many of these allegations named Bill Rouhana specifically. He and other WinStar executives settled out of court for a combined $25 million. Later on, the company that purchased WinStar's assets out of bankruptcy confirmed that the WinStar team had been inflating revenue by hundreds of millions of dollars. The company never generated a profit, but Bill still lined his pockets. The blow-up of WinStar reportedly led to as much as $974 million in losses. That brings us to Chicken Soup for the Soul. The iconic brand was started by two motivational speakers who sold the company in 2008. The creators of the brand have had little to no involvement since. Much of the media surrounding the company going public seemed to conflate the relationship between the company, Ashton Kutcher, and the book series. It got a lot of hype. But the public entity, Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment, was actually a subsidiary of a subsidiary and therefore received no revenue from the parent company, Chicken Soup for the Soul's book sales. They are not the same company. Chicken Soup for the Soul is a private company owned by Bill. Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment is the public company. Also, the business, founded by Ashton Kutcher, A+, is a separate entity that public investors have no stake in. Worse yet, the public entity must pay these affiliates management fees and various other fees. As part of the company successfully going public, Rouhana and his team had to disclose 2 years of financials for Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment. But nearly all of the previous 2 years of revenue came from a single customer, a non-profit named Bonyak Foundation. Who was Bonyak? Conveniently, Bill Rouhana was on the board of Bonyak, and he later gifted in return an estimated 3% of shares to Bonyak of Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment, then worth millions. It's alleged Bonyak had been compensated with stock in exchange for spending money with Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment. If that revenue was falsely earned from an under-the-table stock trade, then it's likely that Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment would never have even gone public or been able to go public in the first place. Anyway, insiders, including Bill's wife, rapidly dumped shares with the stock near its highs of around $35 to $45 per share. Bill was also allegedly using public shareholder money to compensate employees who worked at his own privately owned affiliates, including Chicken Soup for the Soul, which again is Bill's company, not the public company, which is probably intentionally confusing. Here is a summary of some of the transactions between the public company and the various private companies that Rouhana owns. One of the most egregious is between Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment and Trema. Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment generously provides zero-interest financing to Rouhana's privately owned companies. Rouhana's company, Trema, on the other hand, provides financing back to Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment and charges interest on this line of credit. SEC filings show that each year there are millions loaned to Bill's privately owned affiliates, yet no interest is paid on these loans. So the CEO of a publicly traded company is using shareholder funds to provide multi-million-dollar zero-interest loans to his own companies. The amount of money moving from the publicly traded Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment to Rouhana's companies is astounding. Anyway, you get the idea. The 2018 and 2021 reports, critical of Rouhana, speculated that Chicken Soup for the Soul would go bankrupt due to his cheating and swindling. They were right, leaving almost $1 billion in debt and truckloads of people in pain. Rouhana stepped down as CEO, but not before firing his entire board and various other crazy stuff like not paying staff and not paying their health insurance, which staff found out when they started getting bills for services. But again, we see another sort of beloved company with history, many staff, I believe around 1,000, pillaged and plundered by a fraudster. Anyway, at last report, Rouhana's replacement CEO was claimed to be a puppet of Rouhana. The new CEO has no significant experience in entertainment. So, SEC, trades, media outlets, I invite you to look into this. It certainly seems like there's something to look into.